Welcome to Something Came from Baltimore. I'm your host, Tom Gouker. Something Came from Baltimore is a jazz, blues, and R&B podcast and radio show, and it's not really about Baltimore. Today, via Zoom, we travel all the way to Ibiza, Spain to speak with Muriel Grossmann. Muriel has a brand new album called out Universal Code. It's a funky, groovy, African jazz-infused album with some John Coltrane greatness. Now that's a mouthful, right? Universal Code was released on November 2nd, 2022 on the Dreamland record label. Muriel Grossmann is one of Spain's funky saxophonists, and she has been recording instant classics for the last 20 years. Before we get into the show, don't forget to subscribe to Something Came from Baltimore. We need your support. Let's get into the interview now. Let's listen to a sample of track number 8. It's Post Meditation. Welcome to Something Came from Baltimore.
Hi, Tom.
So you're currently living in Ibiza right now, and I think that's a really cool location to live. As a working artist, it seems like with the influx of people, you would always have like a crowd to play to.
Yeah, it's really a beautiful place. I have to say I really enjoy it. And I'm here since 2003, and I consider it like my home and my family's home. And I like it so much because it has this beautiful nature and the proximity to the sea, and it has nice, easygoing people, and the food is great. You know, right now is the avocado time.
Oh, wow.
So avocados from Ibiza, they are really nice. So it's also a great place to gig. We work a lot in the season, and we work more in a standard jazz outfit. We work in great restaurants and clubs and hotels, and it's also actually a very central place, so it's easy to catch a plane and fly to any European country in just a few hours. So, and I like Ibiza for its calm and rural side, because it has many sides, but that's the side that I like, that I can use very much for composing music and studying and practicing and making records.
When I listen to your album, we're going to go through some of the tracks, but John Coltrane influence is definitely there. It seems that, the way that you live your life, you may have a spiritual side that John Coltrane also had cultivated, before he passed away. So there's basically a two-parter on this question. Like, what kind of influence do you have with John Coltrane, and do you infuse your own spiritual side within your music? It's two different ones.
Well, I think first of all, every saxophone player or musician in general is influenced by John Coltrane. He's kind of part of our collective memory and our collective experience. And because it's you hear one note of him and it's him, and the same goes for his music and for the musician he was playing with. So, of course, he left an incredible legacy, and in form of all his records, so we can fully appreciate and enjoy his work. So I think so that part definitely it's very easy to be influenced by, and I love his sound. Yeah, let's say I'm playing and listening to music since I was a kid, so for me it was just natural to pick up what was around. And being an instrumentalist, like a saxophone player, it conditions you to the musicians you listen to. So I'm also influenced by Charlie Parker or Lester Young or Ornette Coleman or Cannonball Adderley or Joe Henderson. Like the list is quite big, and it's kind of, we pick it up. It's a natural antennae that we have. And everything around us somehow is influencing us, and so I guess it's just naturally comes because you prefer something,
Your album titles and the name itself, Universal Code, makes me believe that there is some kind of like running theme going on, or just with the titles that they're called. Is there Is there a connection or like web through? What is that universal code?
It's foremost about humanity. So I like that it can be interpreted in your own way. So it means kind of everything that what it means to you. When the listener hearing these sounds, then it should come to the listener what it means to him. But of course, I gave it that name because I thought you can see it in a more general way that we are all created equal. All that this universal code, we have it inbuilt in us in a musical way. You could see it also that all the music that I'm made of, like a more intellectual one and a more down to earth one, musical one.
On your website, you have something really cool. It's a children's training lesson, which you're connecting the instruments along with the elements. I find it really interesting.
Yeah, so it's for this special educational program, I made a specific music curriculum that going through the four elements, through the four seasons. In autumn, we foremost investigate percussion instruments, and we celebrate African music, and we are a lot with rhythms, on and off beats and stuff like that. And in winter, we go through harmony and our harmonic instruments, and we investigate in classical music. And then in spring, we learn about wind instruments and then jazz, and we are more about melody. And towards summer, we incorporate like all these elements that we've been investigating throughout the year, and we learn a play together, like a musical play, and we also about orchestral music and performing. It's a system that is very fluid, so it's not so strict, but it's more a guideline for me, to orient myself throughout the year. But it functions quite well, I have to say. I'm very happy with it.
The one thing that the universal Mandela theory, which I'm not familiar with, is the way of living to awaken human potential.
Mm-hmm. It's a real revolutionary approach to education. We as guides, we guide the children to awaken their potential, and we try to make them plant the seeds of what they want to reap. Being a guide in that school, you kind of have to study the way things exist or how we exist, and this understanding that we get from studying it, we try to bring it into the classroom in an integral way, with debates, and also it's about growing a community with the children, and the parents are very much involved. So the mandala, it always has a center, and from there it grows. So we believe the seeds we plant there with these kids will make it grow, and hopefully will create a community of wisdom and compassion that will help the world transform.
There's the last song on your last album, Union. Mm-hmm. You're using the hi-hat like to do the introduction to it, but in this album, basically every song has that to start out with. And I was like, oh, there's a thread right there. Was there any reason for that, or that's just how you were starting off each song?
I'm so much into world music, and especially African music. So rhythms are so much influencing my work, and I guess I'm very drawn to it. So I didn't realize what you said, like that it's really like that, because normally if people ask me what's your music about, I will always talk about the bass line, and I don't know what. But definitely it's all about elaborating a polyrhythmic structure, and every instrument has its part in creating this structure, and it gets a union if you want, and but I like I'm very drawn to rhythms that have a nice groove, for me at least, like it's very individual, of course, what means a nice groove, but I want that it moves me, and I want that it moves the people.
Yeah, this album, Universal Code, is very funky. Mm-hmm. I call it a multiple listen because you're going to need to run it through a couple times to get the nuance of everything. It's just, it's not smooth jazz. It's just not going to hit you that way. We're going to go through some of the tracks. We have 4 tracks we're going to play samples for. The very first track is Resonance. You start out with a really groovy intro with a nice drum and bass, along with the Hammond B is kind of, integrated throughout the whole album. And then it's a good jam. It's a great song to start the album with.
Exactly. It was meant to be the opener, and I think it turned out to be a real great opener. It has this Caribbean beat and this beautiful melody that you don't even know. Maybe you even would put it into classical music, maybe something from Bela Bartok or something. And then all of a sudden it goes into this heavy duty funk, and you can really hear our Hammond player put the band in this right groove and put the band together, so like it's I like it.
Definitely gonna play that. Also, it's like all these songs are long form, where it's basically like that song was 9 minutes long. The next song is 8 minutes long. Clarity. They don't feel long. Like they feel like it's a consistent piece. Clarity to me is very funky. I have a very frenzy as a word. There's a frenetic thing.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, well, it's a real vehicle for the soprano saxophone, and the soprano saxophone is this hypnotic instrument that draws you in, right? So it's really up tempo. It gives our drummer Urs Stamenkovic a real nice feature, and then it's like such a vehicle for me to just get it off, to just or turn it on, I don't know what, and then it just rolls, right?
The next song is Interconnection. I'm going to prove it that I feel that there's a James Brown Gonna Have a Funky Good Time riff in there, and I just have to find it so I can play it to the audience. But it is funky.
Yeah, well, it's deep down. It's very influenced in music from Africa, and James Brown was very influenced, of course, from that too. So I think I was very influenced in music from Mali, making that rhythm but also the melody for it. Yeah, so they sometimes they play these melodies on type of marimba and stuff like that, and I translated it a little bit throughout the song, through this instrument, through all the instruments. yeah, it's really funky, and then you have this this fine solo of Radomir Milojevic that can really groove over such a great groove. Yeah,
The last song to me, like, either winds down the album or kind of puts all the parts together, and I call it like the party track. I said it's a mid-tempo party track. The last two minutes of what the song is really kind of like puts everything together, and it has a different vibe to it. It's like a nice way to send off an album. Yeah,
exactly. It's kind of is a good ending song because it gives a celebratory feeling, and it leaves the listener with a good feeling to go on either listening or to start off their day or to go on with their day. So it's great for it. It's actually, it sounds a little bit like a rock tune, but but it's like dance mood, festive, you know. So it's really good to close a record, I think.
I don't know if I said the word. Compassion is the name of the song.
Oh,
We were talking about it, and I don't know if I even said it. But yeah, it's a great way to end the album. The album is good. It's a multi-play, and that just means that there's more meat to the bone there. By listening to it once, you're just not going to get the feel for it. You're going to actually have to dig in. I was at the gym. I listened to it on headphones, and that's even better.
exactly. There's a lot of stuff underneath going on, and really, I think it's best when you listen more times to it. You get all these little nuances after a while. But even if I listen again, you know, I will find new things because it's just a combination of so much elements, and somehow it opens up to you more when you really get into it.
And I want to thank you for joining me today on Something Came from Baltimore.
Thank you so much, Tom, for having me. I hope you enjoy the music.
I hope you enjoyed the interview with Muriel Grossmann. Her new recording is called Universal Code. I have a dream one day that I'll be able to travel to Ibiza and check out Muriel Grossmann, and I hope that you guys have that same dream. The show is over, and everyone have a great day.